of the Empire State Building.
We've got Jonas in the building. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
Hey,
come on, man.
It's good to see you guys.
Home, dude.
Thank you very much.
This is very much your place, dude, and thank you for allowing us to be with you on a special day.
This is cool. It's a special day.
This is an exciting time. It's an anxious feeling. Is it a relief? What's going on in the heart, bro?
A little bit of both. I think it's a little bit like you're sharing such a special part of yourself for the world to hear themselves, but also I was ready for it to come out right when I recorded it or wrote it.
2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I'm glad that people are enjoying it, and the response has been epic.
Yeah.
Well, the last time we hung out with you, we were celebrating the album.
Yeah,
it hadn't even really released yet,
right.
And we were getting a first listen and surprised all your fans.
That's right, yeah, and just in these offices.
Yeah, and then you were hitting Yankee Stadium.
It's crazy.
Which I got to see I saw you. I was in the rain.
I saw you guys, yeah.
Yeah.
That was crazy, too, because I think it was like we had an intermission. It started pouring, raining, and then it stopped right before we got back out.
I feel like you planned that. I was
Yeah.
so mad.
It was supposed to happen that way?
We had a convo with the big man, and he was like, "Look, we got to get out there. Got to finish this show."
Dude.
But you looked like you were having so much fun on stage.
Yeah, you said it. It was a dream come true. I mean, we grew up going to Yankees games, and to perform there and to have such an amazing response and to play it twice was crazy.
Yeah.
And to see so many familiar faces, because what people I think don't realize is we really can see everyone out there.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing friends, I'm seeing fans that were at early shows, and real full circle moment.
Okay, good, because I was like, he's looking at me. He looked right at me, and then
Of course.
I was like, no, it wasn't you. I was like, no, Joe's looking at me.
I saw you.
Exactly.
To have the family be with you, not just your immediate family, your brothers, but the family that are the fans, along this journey, whether it's the three of y'all together, whether it's supporting your brothers watching on the TV show, or, we're in the rain watching this all to come together, and now this solo journey. Like, what does that mean as an artist to know that you've been able to cultivate this relationship and build this community with so many amazing people along the way?
It's really special. Those Yankee shows, the first one I took a city bike from, I think it was Soho to the stadium.
Yeah.
Dang, that's far.
And it was a hot day. The first day was really hot, but I went with our buddy Greg, and full circle. He played bass in the band early on, and then now he's in management, and we went together, and he was like, I don't know if we should, this is a little far. And I'm like, this is going to be special. Now, the first time I played, I think Barclays, I did the same thing. And I think our first, early, and I would do it for all the MSG shows. It kind of becomes a tradition now.
Well, also because I don't think anybody's really picking up on what Joe is really saying here, is traffic sucks in the city. And that's the most expeditious way to get to the venue.
I beat my brothers by 2 hours.
That's what I'm saying.
No, really?
Yeah, I beat okay, maybe 20 minutes, but
Traffic
traffic sucks in the city, so you got to take your city bikes if you can.
Yeah.
And there is a little uphill. It's not all flat.
I found that out the hard way, and missed a couple turns, but all good.
So when you were on that tour, did you already know that you already were working on your own thing?
No, not at all. I mean, this happened a couple months ago.
Yeah.
I was writing a song in mind for the brothers, and we started working on a new album, and I was in the studio. The way we like to work, we'll go in separate rooms, and Nick say that this time around it was me and Nick in LA at the same time.
Yeah.
He started working with one writer producer, and I started working with another one. And I was with Alexander 23, who's an amazing musician, and then Justin Tranter, who I wrote "Cake by the Ocean" with, and amongst other songs. And then this amazing other writer named Bo. And so we're working on a song together, and this song called "Only Love." And after it was done, I was kind of sat back and I was like, damn, this song's really cool. I selfishly don't know if I want to, if this feels like it could be for the brothers. I mean, it feels great for the brothers, but I love it so much. And also I feel like it's kind of, and musically it's bringing me in a direction that I want to explore for myself. And I also didn't feel like it was DNC. And when I was trying to speak through and the emotion that I was trying to put pen to paper, I felt like, I don't really know if I want other people to be speaking from my position or perspective. And so I kind of we had a few exciting things come about, and Nick was like, I have this movie opportunity with Paul Rudd. Kevin was like, I've got another season of Claim to Fame I can do.
Yep.
And I was like, well, I want to kind of work on some music. I don't know. At that point, I was like, I don't know if it's an album. I don't know what it is. I just need to go do this
You
for
want
myself.
to explore. You felt that burning sensation.
for sure.
Like, this is there's something that's calling me in this direction. I would do myself a disservice if I didn't try.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then I had I had about 2 weeks before we had to go do some shows, and it just worked itself out.
So you mentioned some amazing collaborators, and we know with the last album, and we brought it up while we were doing the little listening party, John Bellion, you know what I mean? Which is special. Is there any of that influence in what you learned from working on this most recent body of work with working with him that sees its way into this next couple of...
I love John, and he really... I think elevated a lot of like some of the music that we were doing and we were trying to find. Yeah. And John really took the reins kind of musically for us. But I think this time around, what I learned, I learned so much from him. But I think one thing I would say is getting out of my comfort zone, working with new people.
Hell yeah.
So there was a lot of new writers, a lot of new producers, a lot of friends that I've just always have been like, why would I not just reach out to them? I mean, there's got like, I think at this point it's like 7 or 8 features on this project.
And we're not going to get any names right now, are we?
I mean, No. Only because I get in trouble if I say the name. There's all these plans of releasing the names. I'm like, but it's always so funny. Fans are clever. They'll be like, he followed this person.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this person reposted this. There's a lot of question marks around it.
I don't mean to interrupt, but there was a little rumor around just today that walking around the building, we saw Big Rob somewhere around here earlier.
Oh yeah,
today.
he's always did he wait really?
That's what the word on the street is. I don't know.
Well,
was he? I don't know, but
BRP is always around.
But but it's a matter of bringing in those family members that you trust most to help you elevate and move your passion forward.
Absolutely, and there's some people that I never really expected to work with on this project. Some legendary writers, producers, and it's cool to see it come together so quickly.
Awesome, dude.
And then back to the idea of when you started to want to work on this yourself. Were you a little nervous to tell your brothers? I mean, I know they were doing their own things.
Yeah, I was.
Because you guys had just started your album together, and the tour was so successful, and now you're like, wait, I want to kind of do it myself.
I think to answer your question, yes. I mean, I was more nervous about being like, hey, that song we've been saying is for the guys. Like, could I keep it? And it makes it a little easier that they didn't write on it, so I might feel a little more comfortable. I was like, but it's still like, when you say like, yeah, this is for us, it makes the nerves kind of trickle in. But I think now we're all very supportive, and we understand that like, if we, let's say, have outsource stuff that we can do, whether you call it, if it's successful, and that word is very, I use that not aggressively, because I feel like at the end of the day, like, it could be released and I'm just happy to get out there. But if Nick has a film that does really quite well, or if people love my music, it's only going to make the brothers that much stronger. And I think also emotionally, you need to go step away and find your own thing. And I found that with doing DNC, one of the biggest things was like a pat on the back of like, cool, I could do something on my own, and I needed that for myself. And obviously I still do shows with them, and it's such a blast. So it's nice to have the opportunity.
Jinju and Jack, are they anywhere found in between the, you know what I'm saying?
They play on this. They play on a song on the new album.
Sick. Yeah. And it goes all to just what we were saying. It's a community. It's a tight knit family. It's trusting and relying on those folks who, even though you step out and you try to do your thing, you know that it's going to enhance what you can then bring to Jonas Brothers Tour 2028. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm just putting that out there. Just 2028. Yeah, man.
All right.
Where are we now?
I like that.
Let's talk Work It Out, bro, and what this song means to you, and and just how fulfilling it was to write these lyrics and to have this guitar thing start off and people thinking, oh, this is gonna be tempo change.
I had the same. Well, you had the same emotion or feeling when I heard it first. Jason Evigan, who's done stuff with Dua Lipa and Charlie XCX and a bunch of amazing artists, to name a few. And he heard a lot of I bumped into him at breakfast at a spot in like Calabasas in California, and I saw him and his family, and I was like, man, I want to play some stuff I'm working on. I haven't seen him for a while. So I started playing it. I sent him some music, and the genius he sends me a track right away. He's like, I got this idea. Yeah. And originally the bass was like much louder, and I was like, this is awesome. I didn't expect it. It starts with a very like kind of 12-string guitar, which I think it nods to a lot of other stuff on the album, which is a lot of it. There's a lot of like, I would say Western influence, a country Western music, and there's some country artists on the album. So I was like, this is really exciting kind of blend. And then to have also this kind of like strokesy Phoenix type, like like big chorus, and I was like, okay, there's no lyrics, and I worked with this great singer-songwriter, Blush, on another song, and I was like, I would love for the three of us who haven't worked in the same room together, let's just see what happens. And we all started our day talking just like this, round table, talking about like, well, first of all, we were very caffeinated, and we walked in, we were like talking about being anxious about funny things, talking about being parents, relating on different things in our lives. And then I think we were just like, I was like, this is the song. So we started like pulling inspiration from literally memes to conversations we've had to this little yellow notebook I carry around that has all these different quotes and thoughts and a journal.
Is that where we find the even the baddies?
Get saddies?
Is
That's
that
funny
in the
enough. That
notebook?
came.
Is that in there in somewhere?
That one's on my phone because it was a meme that I saw that I loved. There's like hundreds of memes of different phrases like that, and I thought it was so funny, and I was like, you know what? I want to try to fit it in. It worked perfectly in the first verse, and so we just kind of ran with it, and we wrote it really quickly. So call it the caffeine, or just or sometimes it flows through you. But yeah, I mean, what it means. I mean, ultimately, it's that conversation that everybody has with themselves when they, or hopefully will have with themselves. Where for me, I was looking in the mirror and I'm like, all right, man, like this sucks right now, but like you're gonna be okay, and like no one's gonna come fix this for you. You gotta fix it yourself, and you gotta figure this out. And so that was that moment, and then I was like, that's something I want to, and then we were relating on that, and then I think the second verse is more so speaking with like a group of friends or whoever that person is for you, be like, all right, I know I'm a little dramatic, and I know I go through this, but this is what I'm feeling. I know you're feeling it sometimes too. So I hope it's a little pep talk, and it's a way where, you know, some of my favorite music out there is music that's got heavy or emotional lyrics with a fun upbeat tune. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I noticed when I was listening. I was like, okay, this is so fun. I hear Joe on this, but then also I'm like, okay, I'm really introspecting here. And why did you decide that your first solo single was going to be about keeping it positive and up, instead of, sometimes we hear people put out records first that are just more chill and more just fun?
That was almost the case, to be honest. I the first song that, call it an intro track or single, was going to be more emotional, and I love that song, but this one kind of came in the last minute and ninth inning of the album, and we were all like, you know what? I am happy. I am genuinely happy in my life, and I feel really grateful for what I have, and I'm like, you know what? That's kind of the way I would like to introduce this body of work.
Yeah, grateful. Let's hang on that word for a little bit before we get you out of here, man. Like, grateful to be able to do these things. Grateful to
not really. It's just about the money, honestly. No, of course.
It's all about the baddies, not having saddies. No, but what does it mean to you and just to the family, to all I mean, everybody from mom, dad, to,
no, of course. I mean,
to be,
especially the last, not to interrupt you,
no,
but to interrupt you.
Yeah.
The last tour, especially, you know, we've done this almost next year. Our big tour we're going on is a 20-year anniversary, really, and we are, thank goodness, we're still like young dudes doing it, and it's cool to see like getting on stage, and you know, these songs we played almost majority of our discography up there, and you're going through the set list and you're like, oh, this one's like, you know, I don't know if I relate with this one anymore. Mm-hmm. I wrote this one about this person. I don't know if I want to sing it. For sure. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do that because these songs now are their songs, and these songs affect them differently, or bring them back to a memory of their childhood or teen years, first kiss, first breakup, happy moments. And I went to the Coldplay show in Greece.
By the way, two of our favorites.
Olympic Stadium.
Yo,
I'm so mad.
Coldplay is like,
you gotta go. If you have the opportunity before they wrap the tour, you got to go. And he said something on stage that I was like, yep. He's like, you know, look, this is such a special moment. Here we are, like all together in one room, different religions and political views, and you know, you have good days, bad days. And he's like, but we all can relate and just and we're both crying and singing and dancing to the same songs. Yeah. And I'm like, that doesn't really happen. You know, even film and TV, sometimes people are like, I don't watch this because of blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So it's nice to know that music is still kind of, and now obviously there's people that don't like certain artists, but it's nice to be in a setting where you can do that. And I'm like, how grateful are we that we get to do this for a living?
And before I was interrupted, the question was going to be no, but to know that you are a legacy act, you know what I mean, and moving in that direction. I mean, literally using that word, bro, because of everything you just said. You're able to evoke those emotions. You're able to still get up on stage and have fun. You're you know, in this, and we're no spring chickens any longer, but you continue to do it with grace, and
Thank you.
It's going to go on that way. What does that mean to you to know that you've been able to do that for the world, to create and evoke those same emotions you felt from Chris and Coldplay. You do that for others.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think it's cool to see. You know, we grew up with our audience, and the audience keeps growing, and it's cool. I think one of the things I love about Jonas fans in general is that they're welcoming. I think there are other fan groups that are like, "Oh, you're just a new fan. Do you know their deep cuts?" I'm like, that's not really like. I don't agree with that kind of idea. I love the idea that it's like, welcome to the party, because it's so our shows, the brothers shows, are fun, and I
your
think
shows, dude.
Yeah, and then
shows as well.
Thank you. And DNC shows are wild and crazy, and then I'm going to be doing solo stuff, so it's fun to see how we can all put on different kind of energies for an audience and make it welcoming.
What's really been fun to see is because I was one of those Disney girls that loved you guys and obsessed and would try to get backstage. And now seeing you guys put out work like the album, and now seeing you do your own thing, I was showing it to my boyfriend, and he's like, wait, I kind of like the Jonas Brothers now. I think like you just see how you guys are evolving with us too, which is really cool. How does that feel?
It feels really good. I think we saw that a lot. A lot of couples come to our shows now, and a lot of people come to the show alone. And I think it's nice to know, just like anything. I feel like you live in the day and age now where you find new music everywhere and new artists everywhere. And it used to be like you're carrying around what you're listening to.
Remember the CD books, bro?
Of course. I'm aging myself, but like, of course, oh yeah. But you couldn't hide what your favorite artist was.
Yeah.
Now it's like, it doesn't matter. You can listen to everything and anything and listen to songs and be like, oh, I love this song. And yeah, I want to go see them live. That sounds fun. And yeah, you grow up and, you start to become more confident with who you are. And it's nice to see your boyfriend slowly becoming a fan.
We're working it out, bro. The song is here. There's more to come. The world is so excited for all things that are you, because you are you. And it's such a heartfelt message that I want to convey to you. Just, in the thank you. And we've been buds for a while. We've been
for sure.
Through this and just every time it's a level up. Every time it's a challenge that you've successfully met. And here's a tip of a cap to another one, man. I mean,
thank you so much.
Congratulations
I
on
appreciate
turning
it,
that
guys.
page. Seriously, and knowing that you can do it
like
and doing
this.
it so successfully.
I just gotta come here every morning so I can
You're a fan, man.
get hyped up with
That's
you.
what they say.
Come on.
I love it.
I love
appreciate
seeing
it.
you on your dad's podcast. When
Oh,
he did Legendary.
yeah.
That was so
Dude.
fun. And he was sharing these stories that
So fun. Yeah, he's got all the stories.
he's the one with the stories.
Sometimes I'm reading something, I'm like, where does this come from?
Yeah.
Your dad said it on his podcast. I was like, okay, Dad. No,
Your
it's
dad
great. I love
said
it.
you have the biggest heart out of all the kids.
Well, you heard it here first. Or you heard it there first. Haha, Kevin and Nick and Frank. That's very nice of him.
And I think that we also see that in your music. Like, why is it so important for you to spread that positivity, that love message for everyone else, for your fans, through your music?
It goes back to little moments. I think there was a moment we were playing in Australia recently. We finished our Australian leg of the tour, and our last show was like one of the defining moments of another reason why I wanted to start making this music. I got to perform with Dougie of Temper Trap and sing Sweet Disposition. I bumped into him at a coffee shop, and then I was like, yo, man, I'm such a fan. Do you want to perform this? It's so funny. Later on, he's like, yeah. He's like, I was down, but then I told my goddaughter, and she said, if you don't do it, I won't speak to you again. I was like, okay. And so he, or something along those lines. Yeah. And then there was a young girl in the audience who was like, it's crazy. She's going through chemotherapy, and she was going to come backstage to say hi. And I was like, hey, do you want to come on stage? And she was like, I would love. She was like, yes. So we brought her on stage, and the crowd cheered louder for her than anything we did that day. And I'm like, that's what it's about. I'm like, I think it's kind of trippy that I have such a opportunity to continue to do this every day, and also to make people put a smile on their face, even for whether it be 10 minutes or 10 years, 20 years. And I think that's why I'm supposed to do what I do, and I think it fuels me. And I also feel when I'm performing or when I'm releasing music, it's coming from my heart. It's I feel like, especially the new body of work in this album, I'm so close to it, because it's a lot of times you'll have songs pitched to you. I have a lot of great writer and producer friends out there. They'll send me songs every day, like, hey, check this out. And some are great for us, some of them are like maybe not right, but I like that I was in the studio every day with these different people and trying to speak from the heart and take time with the lyrics. So, yeah.
And then also knowing that you care so much about the moments that you're in too, because your dad asked you what was like your top 3 moments where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm really doing this. And the number 2 moment you said was performing at Gov Ball in Central Park, which is coming up here in just a few months.
Yeah.
Why was that so special for you?
Many reasons. I think probably there's quite a few. I'd say I've never performed in Central Park, first off, and like, growing up going to Central Park and then looking out, I mean, it's just a wild experience, sea of people, and you're in this city that ultimately I grew up in. I mean, I grew up on the other side of the water, but you go to Central Park how often, and it's a special moment, and I think like all of our families were there and got to see the show, and so I was emotional that day. It was really special.
And then also the whole point of the performance is to give back, like we're raising money.
Yeah, and more importantly, yes, it's an amazing raising money for a good cause.
And to see Joe Jonas sometimes. That's also another reason. But
yeah, the blessings keep coming, dude. I mean, it's who you are. It's who the family is. It's why you see these logos on the TV. It's always an open door policy here at Z, man. Your family grew up listening to the station. Been a part of so many amazing things.
I won a Z$100 when I was like 13 or 14.
There, you got your Z$100 bill.
What's so funny is
Let's
that
go.
I flipped out. I didn't know there was money involved. I just was like, I called in and got a Green Day like DVD.
Yeah.
And then they were like, and it came with $100. I was like, you're kidding.
I'm rich.
I'm rich.
Yeah.
What did you do with
Insert
that?
The Chappelle Show. I'm rich, bitch.
I think I held on to it for months. Like I would go to, I think, McDonald's and get the dollar menu just so I could be like,
Stretch it.
yeah, like maybe it was like,
That's so funny.
that lasted many months for me.
Also, growing up here, I didn't realize that you were on Broadway as like a teen, as an early teen.
Yeah.
You learned how to roller skate for the role with your dad.
Yeah, it was trippy. So, La Boheme, which was directed by Baz Luhrmann, was a Italian opera that they put on. It's a massive production. It was a huge theater, so it really only lasted like a year and a half because of the size. It was still a good length of time, especially now with how quick these turnarounds are. But it was pretty trippy. I mean, like you had people like Tom Hanks at the opening and like legendary actors who he's worked with throughout his career. And there's a couple highlights. One of my favorite memories, just not knowing staging and how things work. I was during the rehearsal, and there's like a 12-person kid cast because you got to switch them out every other day, so they're not overworked. Exactly, important stuff. And during the rehearsal, like I think somebody's like, Joe, a little stage left, please. And I just froze because I'm like, I don't know what stage left is. I've never even heard that term. I was like, what does that mean? And I just was like, looked around, and the kids start giggling, and then some of the adults started laughing, which is kind of messed up. And then I was like, I'm gonna call them out right now. Their names aren't out. I was like, I'm like
Thanks,
kind
Greg,
of,
Brian, Sandra.
yeah, I'm like super uncomfortable. And then Baz Luhrmann himself walks all the way up from his seat, goes on stage, and just like pretends like he's doing something, moving some apples on this like on some of the set, like whispers in my ear where to go. And I was like, I'll never forget that. And he doesn't have to. I mean, I don't think he has to do that, but it shows up what a like stand-up person he is. And so that was an amazing memory from that. And also, yeah, my dad was really comedic, but the character I was out for, his role, which we found out much later, they're like 6 audition in, they're like, all right, now the next one is a roller skating audition. And I was like, this is a joke, like. And luckily my dad randomly was like a competitive roller skater in high school, like disco roller skating.
I love that.
And so like he's incredible at roller skating. So we went to the roller skating rink, and I had like a teacher for a second, but it wasn't really doing anything. And my dad just like 2 days straight, we went to the roller skating rink, and I like learned some tricks and showed up and got the role.
Crazy.
You know what's I don't know why, and I'm grateful and also disappointed that I visualized Mr. Jonas in the short 70s roller skating shorts.
He like did. He did the splits. He did everything.
All that. Yeah.
He still
Usher
can.
Shut up, Usher. You know what I'm saying?
He should have had my dad up there at the Super Bowl.
Joe, do you still think that Nick is the favorite child? I've heard you say that.
Yeah.
Well, you're a dad now. Do you think that you're gonna have a favorite
daughter? I could never, but I think Nick will they'll never admit it, but I think so. I think Kevin and Franklin would agree with me.
Too much, man. Dude, this family energy, again, man, open door policy whenever. So grateful that you did
Thank you,
time
guys.
to explore,
Of course.
like I said, this chapter of the book that is you to give us this music, man.
Happily.
Work It Out is here. Joe Jonas in the
You.
building. Applause.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for being a part of the Z100
Thank you.
family.
Thank you for having me in.